Hi, this is Lila. Thank you for hanging out with me for episode 3 of my vlog, Solo Concert Goer. In this video, I will be doing a concert review of the Hella Mega Tour, that's Green Day, Weezer, and the Interrupters at Citi Field in New York. If you'd like to skip to any particular part of these reviews, you could check the timestamps below in the description. In the days leading up to this concert, I definitely started thinking about what I was gonna wear. It's just one of those concerts where you're allowing yourself to dress up. And it was just exciting to listen to the music. I pulled up an old documentary live concert of Green Day's called Bullet in a Bible. I found it on YouTube that I watched when I was 14, and I had to beg, borrow, and steal from friends to get that DVD and watch it. I don't think I ever returned it to the friend who let me use it. Sorry, friend. But I just remember feeling extremely connected to the band members in that documentary because they were telling their stories and spoke from the heart in between the live show. I don't know if you've seen the DVD, but it's definitely worth checking out. Getting to the venue was about an hour's commute for me. On the subway, I think most people took the 7 train. Also know that a lot of people took the Long Island Railroad coming in from Long Island. So I think I got lucky. A lot of people's travel times were a lot longer than mine. And getting to the venue, I was kind of nervous that I was going to have to walk around the whole entire stadium to find the line. Luckily, another girl was looking for the line too. And I was so happy to connect with another person and already have some conversation going while we're walking around trying to find this line. And we were talking to some of the staff around the stadium. And it was pretty funny because they didn't know what they were saying either, honestly. One person was like, "Sawe," and the other person was like, "Sawe." And people were like, "Are there any bathrooms?" And one person is like, "No, there aren't bathrooms." And then the other person is like, "No, there are bathrooms." So as we were walking, one of the other staff members said to us, "Oh, Fall Out Boy is pulled out for the concert." And just because it seemed like not all the staff were on the same page when we asked them previous questions about other things, we were like, this guy's just messing with us, right? And we didn't believe him. So eventually we found the line and hung out together. And it was just, the crowd was the line was different at this concert. Everybody wanted to say hi to each other and be funny and have an awesome time. People were dressed in the coolest outfits. Sadly, Fall Out Boy did have to pull out of the show due to somebody on their team testing positive for COVID. That was very sad. I was really looking forward to seeing them, of course. But I asked myself, would I have spent the same $500 to see Green Day only? I would have. So all in all, I was like, it's not the worst thing ever. It's definitely the most I've ever paid for a concert ticket, and it was a resale ticket. And so, I did have to overpay for it, unfortunately. But I would do it again. I've always loved Green Day. It's so they're part of my DNA, grew up with them, and they're still as awesome as 15 years ago. Hanging out in the line with this girl that I met when I got to the stadium, Yuval, we were comparing notes on our childhoods and the role Green Day played in it. And eventually, like, we just had, like, we were just, like, had so much in common and agreed on so many things that eventually I was like, wait, how old are you? And turns out, like, she's 28 also. That made so much sense. It felt like we were definitely on the same wavelength. When we were a certain age, when we were teenagers, we were experiencing the same songs that Green Day was putting out. And so it was just awesome to feel like my younger self was there with me, and to hear other people talk about their younger selves was just it was definitely the experience that I was looking for. After spending a couple of hours in the line, I started seeing people who look familiar. I was like, I've seen these. Where have I seen this? Oh my God, I saw them at the Rise Against concert. All those people I didn't talk to are in the same line as me again. And I was just like, I'm not going to be a coward. I'm going to go say hi. So I ran up to different people that I've seen at the Rise Against concert. It was so cool. Introduced ourselves to each other. Reflected on how insane the mosh pit and crowd surfers were. Got introduced to their friends. And we got to take pictures for each other while we were in the stadium, because we were at different spots, and we could see each other. So like it was cool to like take pictures for each other and then send it to each other like over Instagram after. It was just so cool. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to finally make some new friends and know that I am probably going to bump into them very often in the next 2-3 months, because we have the same taste in music. And while this experience for me is about showing up to these concerts solo and still having a solo experience, the very reason that I'm doing it is to push myself to meet these new people and not be stuck in my bubble, arriving there with one person or like my friend group or somebody I'm dating or whatever, and then just like being in that bubble the whole time, instead of meeting new people, making new memories, doing crazy shit together, and have like not no inhibitions, but like not feel so self-conscious that maybe your friends are going to be embarrassed if you're a certain way. No, I could just be who I am. And that was like this 28-year-old girl who had Green Day tattoos on her arms. After having my bag broken at the last concert, it was like a small little handbag with a sling. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do a backpack this time. A tiny backpack that I had literally bought on the day of the concert. Such a cute little backpack. And I read I thought I like understood the terms of what's allowed at Citi Field. I did read backpacks aren't allowed, but it also said a certain like length, right, and width, and like my bag was really small, so I didn't think that it was gonna count as an actual backpack, and I didn't give any thought to it, and I really stuffed that backpack. Luckily, I took my bomber jacket with me that I hardly ever take anywhere, and I didn't realize how many pockets that jacket has until I had to empty my backpack and throw it in the trash when we were going through security into the stadium. I mean, it kind of sucked having to throw my bag away, but whatever. And I was just grateful that I could stuff so many things into my jacket pockets. I had like my one diary with me, and I had like a DMV book with me because like currently I need to go get my license. So I thought I would be studying in line and everything, and I didn't have anywhere to put it. And I ended up having to like put it like in my shirt, and that was it, you know? So that was that was kind of like funny to have to do that. But I wasn't the only one. There were a lot of people who had to go through that, and so, you know, I was extremely shocked when my friends and I got a spot so close to the stage. We were literally by the barricades. I knew we were gonna have good spots because we were there, I think, from like 1 o'clock. And the show started at like 5:30 or something. So we waited our butts off, but I still was shocked that we got such a good spot. The Interrupters were the first band to open. We kind of laughed among our new group of friends because when we read their names, we all read the Interpreters, and only like way throughout their set, Yuval turned to me and she's like, it's the Interrupters. And we laughed because like I also like looked at their name and I don't know why, I just saw it differently. So we were just laughing about that. It wasn't like a big thing, but it was just, yeah, she looked up, I guess to follow them, she looked up their name, and I'm glad she did because I wanted to follow them too. They were just the most fun, awesome band. And the fact that they have a lead singer, Amy Allen, that was so special to see a lead singer who's a woman on such a massive stadium tour. Not only was it great to kind of be able to see yourself represented there, their songs were incredibly great for a live performance and for touring. It felt like the songs that they wrote and the songs that they picked to play on this tour are the kind of songs that you don't know the song once it starts, but halfway through you can sing along just because of the repetitiveness or the very easy lyrics or the fact that it's predictable what the next line is going to be. And that's not to say any of it was cheesy at all. That was amazing to me that they pulled off having so many songs that were simple but great, like songs that I still want to listen to now. My first impression when Amy, the lead singer, came out was, what? There's a woman on stage who is older than me, has brown hair, has a lot of clothes on. It was like, I'm just so used to much younger girls getting a lot of attention right now in the music scene, and a lot of like body showing, etc. And that's not to say that any of that's bad. It's just, I feel like that's all I've been seeing. So when Amy came out, I was just so pleasantly surprised, and I felt like that's still possible, that you can still just be you and have things work out for you in the music field. Because sometimes as a musician pursuing a life as a touring artist can sometimes feel like, what do I have to give up about myself? And it was just nice to know that I don't have to. Very unexpectedly, they started performing one of Fall Out Boy's songs. We went mad. Although it's not, it wasn't Fall Out Boy and we were disappointed, it was so sweet of them to do that. We rocked out, kind of made up for it. They also did a cover of Billie Eilish's Bad Guy, and that just is awesome that they would do covers so that the crowd could have a great time singing along. I thought that was really awesome of them. Moving on to the band Weezer, I had no idea who they are. I didn't recognize any of the songs they played. And I don't know how that happened, because I'm obsessed with them after seeing them live and hearing their songs. Something went wrong in my life that I totally have not discovered that band until now. The fun stage was like pink and purple with, I think I counted like 38 Marshall amps, massive amps of, you know, those two colors. I think there was like blue also. And when Rivers Cuomo, the lead singer, came out, he still looks like he is in the 80s. And from what I understand, he's not always had this look. But it was kind of like, I don't know if you call it a mullet and a mustache. It was just amazing. It was amazing to feel like I'm seeing a band who look like they're from the year I was born, like, or in the 90s. And I kind of felt like I was in the 80s or the 90s for a minute. He rocked that look. The day after the concert, I immediately started listening to their music, and I could tell that they played a lot of songs from their Blue album. I recognized them, and they were all very catchy too. It was awesome when they played one of their newer songs from an album called Okay Human, and the song was called All My Favorite Songs. I'm pretty sure that was the name. And Rivers was telling us that when they were confirmed for the Hella Mega Tour, they specifically wrote this song to play it on tour and play it in a stadium. And it made so much sense as soon as they started playing, because it was also one of those songs that were predictable and repetitive, but not in a cheesy way. It was just amazing to sing along to a song that I had never heard before, being like not even halfway through the song and already screaming the words along. It was amazing to see that, and as somebody who's a songwriter and planning to go on my own tour, it was just an experience that I needed to have and to understand. You don't have to write all your songs that way, but it's good to know that you could have a certain structure for a song that you plan on playing on tour to get the audience engaged with. I loved that. Rivers also treated us to another Fall Out Boy song. He played We're Going Down, Sugar We're Going Down, Sugar We're Going Down Swinging. And he only had his electric guitar, so he was like changing it up and trying to play in an acoustic way on an electric guitar. It was really cool. He didn't know all the words, and that just kind of made it even more special that he was just being in the moment and trying to give us what we wanted. And it was cool that the crowd was singing along and helping him out when he like forgot a lyric and that kind of thing. And we were all just screaming at the end of the song, thank you. We were really thankful that they also played us a Fall Out Boy song. At one point, they put a lot of cool like balls out onto the crowd, and we could all hit the balls around, and it was like the same, matching the color of their amps. It was pink, purple, blue. So much fun. And when they played a cover of Toto's Africa, oh my gosh, it was like one of the best things ever. Me being from South Africa, I felt like that song meant something different to me than like the 10,000s of people around me who were also singing along to every word. I was just like looking around wondering what went through their heads, but definitely there were like times when I did not sing along. I was just looking around, seeing everybody sing along to the words, I blessed the rains down in Africa, and I just got goosebumps. Kind of missed home for a second. It was beautiful. I loved it. I was kind of shocked how much their version of Africa sounds like the original. And I was kind of puzzled by that until I read an article today, actually, I think in the LA Times, where Rivers did an interview, might even be like, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. I don't know. Can't remember now. But he was explaining that when they did a cover album, his intention was not to rework the songs and make them seem like, for them to put like the Weezer brand onto those songs. For him, what it meant to record and produce like the songs that mean so much to him was him studying what in his mind makes a great song, and he wanted to get as close as possible to the original versions just to understand the production of the songs. I loved reading about him looking for the a cappella versions of those songs on YouTube so that he could really listen to the music dissected. I was so surprised to read that. And that's something I've been doing in the last couple of weeks, specifically with a Sia song, Alive, and also a Beatles song, Here Comes the Sun, and studying the different stems or the instrumental on its own and then the a cappella vocal on its own. It kind of made me feel like I'm on the right track in terms of trying to become a better composer and producer. Definitely awesome to learn that way. And very cool that even at their level, they still find it interesting to look at their heroes' songs and wanting to learn how that song was made. On to Green Day. At that time, I'd been at Citi Field for a good 8 hours. I made these custom tattoos. I'll put a photo up saying Green Day, put it on my arms, and they were so sticky. By the time Green Day actually came on, it was so gross. There was like stuff on the tattoo glue, and it took so long to get the tattoo washed off me after the show. 2 whole days. I was just wearing like long sleeve clothes. But totally worth it. My new friends and I were just talking about being these kids who are so obsessed with Green Day, knowing every song, knowing what number it is on the album, having watched certain content or read certain interviews. And we were just reflecting on being kids. And I just looked at her and I was like, wow, nothing has changed at 28. When it comes to Green Day, we're still like the 13-year-old selves. It was so fun. Before Green Day came out on stage, Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody played. It was amazing looking around, hearing the crowd sing along to every word again. And Bohemian Rhapsody it's got so many lyrics, so many changes. And what I feel like, what that meant for me, I don't know what Green Day's intention is about playing Bohemian Rhapsody before they come out, but what that meant for me was people or a band, they're just people, but like a band who's like so ultra famous and have made it, they also pay respect to their heroes and pay tribute. I just felt like it was a celebration of Freddie's life and what he did so that other artists could also have a shot and follow in his footsteps. That's what that meant for me. And I just looked around the stadium and I just looked up to the sky and I just said, "You are so loved, Freddie." It was a special moment. Then their mascot came out running, Bunny, and people got all fired up. And then when the band came running out, something so unexpected happened. I had like this stabbing pain in my heart, or in my chest. It felt like my heart, and it didn't feel like my heart was skipping a beat. I wasn't feeling like overwhelmed or none. It wasn't like, I just did not expect my body to react that way, because like mentally I was very excited, but I wasn't like gonna faint because oh my god, that's Green Day. I wasn't like, mentally that was not what was going on, but my chest was like pain, I had a pain. I was like, oh my god, just breathe, you don't want to give up this good spot. Because 2 other girls fainted. I did not want that to happen to me. I love how goofy the band members are, despite a lot of the messaging in the lyrics being like more heavy. Yeah, Billy was just so much fun, made fun of himself, pulled funny faces, and I just couldn't believe how close I was to the stage. At some points, like there were like literal, I don't know, flames, fire, I don't know how you say it, but like a few times fire came out of the stage, upwards obviously, and I could feel the heat on my face. That's how close I was. And see the sweat on Billy's face and see his fingers change as the chords change, and it was crazy. It was just unbelievable, surreal, and so unexpected that I got such a good spot. Seeing Mike Dirnt and Trey Cool was definitely equally as awesome and exciting as seeing Billy Joe Armstrong. They're just their personalities that's come out over the TV screen all these years. So amazing to see it in person. So spot on the same. Feel like they haven't changed. With the crowd being so insanely loud, I loved watching Billy take his time to switch to a new song when one's ended. And because it's that type of band where we all know every song, we're so excited to know what song's coming next. And I felt like he was intentionally taking his time, and like he would like play a chord or two but not giving away what song's coming next. And this crowd, this 40,000 people, everyone just went quiet, waiting to hear what song's coming next. And I looked around and wondered if anybody noticed that we're 40,000 people and you could hear a pin drop. And then, of course, as soon as he plays the chord that gives it away, what song it is, everybody's like mad again. I loved how much power and control he had over our reactions. And it was just, I had to kind of look over my shoulder so many times to remind myself there's 40,000 other people behind me, because I was by the barricade. Of course, it felt extremely intimate, but I definitely, on many occasions, close my eyes, take a breath, and then when I open it, being like, this is real, this is happening, be present. I didn't use my phone a lot for too many videos. I had it on voice recorder so that I can listen back to the concert. I really just wanted to enjoy the moment, and I knew with a show that massive, there's gonna be tons and tons of videos on YouTube of that exact show that I can watch later, and that I didn't have to record it on my phone. And I'm really glad that I did it that way. The pictures that I got to take of Billy, when I left the stadium and looked at them, I was like, I can't believe I get to call these pictures mine. It was incredible. It feels like not real. And at one stage, he turned to our side of the crowd and came super close to us. And I had this brief moment of eye contact. Mind blown forever. Even though we didn't get to see Fall Out Boy, Green Day played a solid 21 songs, 90-minute long set. They didn't take a break or a breather. They really, really made sure that we were still satisfied. And the cool thing was that they only played 2 songs from the last 10 years. Everything else is from like the very early albums and a lot of the songs from American Idiot. Of course, I felt very grateful that they played those songs from that we grew up with, and not just like that they didn't just like play their new albums because they felt like it. They really took the crowd into consideration, and 21 songs, it's a great amount. My top favorite songs they played: Jesus of Suburbia, American Idiot, Good Riddance, 21 Guns, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Holiday, and Wake Me Up When September Ends. Cried my eyes out. After the show, when I was back on the subway train heading home, I just had a lot of questions come up for me, and I made a note of them on my iPhone, and I wanted to journal on them in the next days. Some of the questions that came up for me was, as a musician myself, when I'm working towards my career in music and when I'm creating, what is it that I'm asking for? To get specific about it. And because I think for a long time, any musician will go, oh, this is what I want one day. Of course, like if you see Green Day, you're gonna be like, oh my god, like I want to do that too. I want my music to be that loved also. But to say that, it doesn't help much to talk to yourself that way. I found the better way for me to think about it was to ask myself, when I'm creating music, what is it specifically that I'm asking for to happen as a result? And traveling, commuting with thousands of people just made me like really list the things Green Day fans do for Green Day. It's like you're asking people to love you 20 years from now, and you're asking for that kind of intimate relationship, and you're asking yourself to write and put 10 albums out there in the next 20 years, and allowing yourself to have 100 songs out there where not every one of them is a hit song, and allow yourself to make the bad albums too, or the songs that nobody cares about. Like you have to go through that process to, after 20 years, have 21 hit songs to play in a 40,000 seater stadium. Lots of random thoughts came up for me, but that was one of them. One that I feel like I can't really get the answer for is, what did Green Day give me in the last 20 years? What is it that makes me have like this bond with them where I would spend $500 to go see them. I would get on a train for an hour and an hour back, and I would stand in line for 7 hours. And I would dress up a certain way because I want to look how they look. What is it that they gave me that made me feel so close to them? And I've been journaling about it. And it was a very unexpected answer that came up for me. I particularly remembered their song, Working Class Hero, where the video is really about the working class person and third world countries and war and social injustice. It meant a lot to me as a young person to see a band care. And it was just so apparent to me looking back on music I've created, where a lot of my desire for activism now, well, it has always stemmed from. And it's just one of those things I didn't realize where exactly it stems from until I journaled about my relationship with Green Day. And it was fun to get that specific and curious about what it is that makes me feel connected to the band. Another random thing that came up as an answer was Billy not fixing his crooked teeth for the longest time, even though obviously he could afford to. Just says something about not having to change yourself. And it's a subliminal message, I think, that's stuck with me all these years. I also journaled on this question: what did I get from Green Day during that concert? And I feel like the answer is that I was reunited with my younger self and who I've always been. And that sounds like a massive thing to say, but if anything can take you back in time to remind you of where you come from, the things that you've gone through, the people that you've lived your life alongside, music is the thing that gives you that incredible opportunity to reflect on who you've been. And being reminded of those parts of my life made me feel like I still am all those things that sometimes I feel I've lost along the way. Because sometimes things happen to you and you just feel like a part of you dies that you cannot get back. So what I feel Green Day gave me, they gave me the opportunity to reunite with my authentic, true self. And what an amazing gift. So massive shout out to Pedro and Victoria and Josette and Jay and John and Yuval and Faith. It was so cool to make new memories with strangers and being able to 20 years from now say to each other, remember that awesome concert we went to? I just think it's the best thing ever. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you have any stories that are just like ruminating in your mind and you feel like silly for saying them out loud, I know I'm super introspective and I attach a lot of meanings to things just because I want to. If it's like that for you, I would love to hear your story of how a certain song or how a certain performance or band makes you feel and where it takes you back to in your life. Please share it with me in the comment section below. I'm off to Jones Beach for the next concert. I'll check back in with you after that. Bye.